you for taking the time to sit down with me and Ground Sounds, and let's get right into it. So
Definitely.
my first question is: I found
Okay.
out that you're from Nigeria. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. Born and raised in
Yeah. Okay.
Nigeria.
So we just talked to this Nigerian artist named Praise, and I wanted to know if you've heard of
Oh,
him
okay.
or if you knew him.
I've worked the praise before actually.
Wow.
Yeah, a few years ago, because I also aside from music production and songwriting and
Mhm.
all those good stuff, I also play the keyboard on a professional level. So
Okay.
it was actually a huge concert here in New York City that Praise performed at Barclays Center, and
Mhm.
I put together my band and we rehearsed and we performed with him on stage. So that was amazing. So yeah, praise. That's my guy.
Hey, dude,
Yeah,
that's awesome because we've been talking to Praise and we're trying to get out to Nigeria here in the next year, and
oh
you're
wow,
gonna have to come with us, man. And you and Praise are just gonna show us
definitely.
the ropes, man.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it,
it.
man. We'll figure something out, maybe. All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And don't switch up on me now when I will call you back, all right?
Of course not. I'm never gonna turn down an opportunity to go to the motherland.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. So, question I always like to start out with: what were some things that got you into being an artist? What were maybe some artist inspirations for you? What kind of got you in to want to do this?
Man, it's this. I'm just gonna break it down and to
Break it down
to
for me, man. Let's do it.
right. So music has always been a part of my life. It's been since I don't even remember. I've always been playing the keyboards, um, and also percussions. My dad had, I don't know if you ever know the talking drum.
I've not heard of
You
the
know,
talking drum.
yeah, it's a talking drum. It's a percussion instrument. So I was very interested in that at a young age, and also just the guitar, the drums, and the keyboards. I've really been playing that in church
Mhm.
from, let's say, like seven. At 7 years
Yeah.
old, I've really been into music. So I couldn't escape it. Something that that was I was born with. So I guess it's that was like what I was born to do. So and I migrated here to the United States when I was 16 turning 17, I believe. And that was a great opportunity for me to continue doing music. And I met a couple of people. Then I started getting into music production and songwriting. And I kind of like, hey man, you have a little voice there. You can use that and sing and songwrite and produce. And I started taking that serious from then. And ever since then, here today, I'm working on a song coming out on the 11th, and the EP on the 25th is, it's good stuff.
A lot going on, man. Grinding till 5:30 in the morning, getting
Man, talk about those days, and that's
right.
last night was one of those days.
Hey, that's a real one though, man. You a real one with that. So I kind of wanted
Yeah.
to, with your first song, like, or I don't want to say this is your first song because I don't know if it is.
Hmm.
Change the World. It was just one of the
Okay.
songs. So I really liked kind of the softer edge to the beginning of that song. What kind of went into the production of that and how that kind of came about?
Okay. What that was a while ago. I don't even remember what year that was that I worked on that
I
song with
I want to say it was 2014, but I think I'm wrong. I
20.
think I'm
Right, right. It could have been. You might be right.
okay.
So that song was like an inspirational song. I wrote everything, from the music part to the songwriting as well. Like I literally wrote everything. I think I sang the first verse and I had the feature artist Olayinka sing the second verse. So that was actually the beginning in a way, as far as knowing that I can really do this as an artist. Even during that time, I was also with a production team and also a music team as well, OMG. So during that time, it was really, I forget what was going on, in the world at that time that kind of inspired, that song. And, I really liked it. I didn't want it to be too much because the message, I wanted it to be clear. So I didn't want to put too much instrumentals. I wanted it to be a little epic, but not overly epic where people kind of only focused on the music. I wanted them to really hear the message of the song, bringing people together. Doesn't matter your race, your culture, ethnic background, whatever it is, we're one, and let's keep it that way. And it's funny how everything is still relevant, in today's world,
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah, especially
definitely.
today.
Right, right.
So I guess kind of a little side question then is like, how have you been dealing with like putting out music, creating your music, and obviously not probably touring that much, if at all, with
Right.
the pandemic going on?
Man, it's kind of been difficult, but this year has kind of taught us a lot, that touring and everything is great, but having family and having health is even better.
Yes.
Money is great. You're on the road. This time last year, I think I was in Europe, with Mr. Easy. That's another Afrobeats artist that I perform with on stage, and I direct his music. We had a great run last year. We did Coachella, we did, a bunch of dates with him. So this year we were supposed to be in Germany as well, and some other, countries,
Hmm.
as maybe even this summer. But, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, things had to change, and, everyone had to readjust. And I had to really like get into my artistry, like, okay, let me really, really do this. So it was kind of like that push for me, like, man, you as well can be, you know, a face. You understand what I'm saying? You as well, you can also be a brand, a face, rather than, you can still support artists whenever they need you, but you yourself, you're also a brand, you're an artist, you're an artist. So, just go full full force into it. And that's how I started working on my EP during the pandemic, phone calls, voice calls, uh
Zoom
FaceTiming a
interviews,
lot of
maybe.
artists. Say that again.
I said maybe Zoom interviews.
Oh, exactly right. FaceTiming these artists like, hey, could
Yeah,
you send that,
yeah.
that, send the stems back. So it was really the push for me. I must say, if the pandemic didn't happen, I would still be working on my personal music, but it wouldn't be as much. You get what I'm saying? But the pandemic kind of just made me lock in and just work hard. Like, okay, you know what? This is the time. I'm not touring at the moment, nothing of that sort. And just work hard. That's really how I'm dealing with it, by
Yeah.
making some music.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists and people just in general have really, if you've taken advantage of the time at home, like spending with some family, like you've definitely been prepping for some things, like at least in your field or career or wherever you're going.
Right, right.
Definitely been tough on everybody though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I asked this question a couple weeks ago, and I got like kind of some funny answers from it because it's always been different. So I
Okay.
asked you, when you put out your music, what
Mm-hmm.
is that feeling like after? So like it's you just put it out, you've just grinded out on this song for maybe a year or two, or this
Right.
album, and what is the feeling afterwards when you put it out and you hear it elsewhere?
It, for me personally, it's a feeling of, all right, like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, like, oh, all right, now the music is out, and it's also a thing where I'm feeling, all right, will people love it as much as I do,
Oh
or
yeah.
would they love it as much as the people that I've played it for before I released it? Because I also have some trusted ears that I usually send, music to before it's released. Hey, what do you think about this mix?
Hmm.
What do you think I can do to it to make it, hit harder, blah, blah, blah. And every positive, notes that I've received, and even the negative ones that I've turned to positive, I want to know if people are going to receive it that same way. So that's usually the feeling for me. Like, all right, now the music is out. I hope you guys are going to like it as much as I do, and it's just a great feeling. It's like, to me that's success. You get what I'm saying? That's a part
Oh
of
yeah.
success.
Oh yeah.
It's not just about, oh, the song is not on the billboard, it's not on any charts. Just releasing the music that you want to release is already success to me. So that alone is like, great. It's a great feeling. So you know,
Preach,
if
man.
it
Preach.
right, if it makes if it if it makes any chart, amazing. If you know, blah, if it doesn't, amazing. I'm just happy to just release the music and for people to, you know more about who I am as an artist. You know,
Shows true
so
passion. That shows true passion, truly, right there.
right, exactly. That's the
But
feeling.
I asked that question because a lot of every artist has given me a completely different answer for that question. And
Right,
it's one of those questions that I'm like, I'm kind of expecting a little bit, like you said, maybe like a relief, but it's amazing to see some of the people I've talked to have been like, this has been, I get nervous talking to other people. Some people have told me they're like, I don't even want to be in the room while it's on, or I don't want to listen to it anymore
right,
because it's like torture. But it's just an interesting one that I've kind of liked and picked up. So I kind of want to take
right,
you
right.
back a little bit. A
Okay,
little bit further than 2014. So take me
let's do
back
it.
to 2012 and what that time meant when you were creating TMG, the Music Geeks.
Great, man. That was an amazing time. Those times prepped me for this time. You know, the Music Geeks, that was the production team that I was telling you about.
Mhm.
A friend of mine, GC, who's currently in LA right now, he's doing amazing. He was here in New York, and man, like I said, those times prepare me for now because when I tell you every day, because he had a nice home setup, so every day we would be at his, studio, literally working and writing songs, like every day, making beats, writing songs, submitting music. You know, some of them would get accepted, some of them would get rejected. You know, so we were doing a whole lot of things then, and that was really that was not just work for us; it was fun. We loved to do it even till now. You know, GC's still doing a lot of production and, in LA performing with, because he plays guitar,
Nice.
performing with a lot of a lot of artists out there in LA and touring as well. But, obviously he's not touring at the moment. But so that time, that was a great time, As I said, those times prepared me for now. I learned a lot, that was like a learning experience with, with GC. Uh, you know, so that was an amazing time. He's a great guitar player. We met. It's funny how I met him. It was I wanted to buy studio speakers and it was on Craigslist. So
Man, man.
and it was from his roommate that I bought the speakers. So when I
Okay.
went there, I was like, hey. Then I told him about myself. He's like, hey, you should meet my roommate GC. He's gonna like you. He's a great guy. I was like, oh, great. Maybe one of these days I'll send him an email or text or just swing by. And when I met him, it was just we just connected right away, and we just we went right to work because we knew what the great things that we could do, which led us to performing with Jessica Betts, who won the Road to Stardom, TV show by Missy Elliott. So we did a lot of great things in 2012 with TMG. We really did.
That's awesome.
you know,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Especially I think that's crazy. That's 8 years ago now. Like
hmm
nuts. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say, they say, overnight success takes, 10 years plus. So they say, right? So
You're
no
almost
one
there
just,
then, right? That's
yeah,
four
right,
fifths of the way.
right. When they say people, oh my gosh, he just blew up out of nowhere. No, I don't think anyone kind of blew up out of nowhere. People have been putting in that work for years, and then they finally got to, the world finally, tuned into their work. So that's how I feel. So,
Man, dude, let them know. Like you've been giving me some good stuff today, man. This is
right,
great.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Um, so I don't really want to keep you too long. I'm gonna try to wrap this up in kind of two questions into one.
Cool.
So last year you said you did Coachella. I believe it's last year you also did the BET Music Matters.
No, BT Music Matters was it was an ongoing thing for years back, about maybe 5 years ago.
Oh wow, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So from those experiences and everything that's happened just since 2012, how are those
Right,
moments prepared you, and what do you plan to do with the future?
right. So as I said, my background is performing, playing the keyboards, and direct the music, composing, arranging. I do a lot of arranging, for churches, for artists, and even a lot of times I'm not even on stage playing, but I arranged, the live set for them. So those things kind of prepare me to even before I got into production years ago, I was always arranging music and direct the music and playing keyboards live, of course. So those things kind of prepare me as an artist, because these days it's kind of like you have to kind of do it all. Sometimes, produce your own music, write your own songs, sing your own music, you're everything. You're your own team, unless later on when you start finding people who believe in you, then they can finally start, saying, hey, I think this guy can do great things. So let's see how we can help him out. But the beginning stages, you're always doing it yourself. So I learned a lot from those experiences by, allowing me to see how these artists that I used to perform with, how they operate, how their management operates and things like that. And even then, streaming services was not even, you know, the thing, let's say, yeah, about 8 years ago, streaming services was not really a thing like that. So I kind of really, learned from their hustle, because they would literally bring their CDs to the tours that I used to perform with them, and they'll be selling it. No one really says, "Hey, go stream my music." At least when I was performing, really, when I started performing, it's now that the artists that I play with, they say, "Hey, stream." No one brings CDs anymore to, to the performances and sign CDs. No, they just say, "Hey, stream my music." That's easy for them to do. So I kind of learned from their hard work and grind that if they can be successful without the streaming services, imagine with the streaming services. That's already that should be a plus. So you should kind of act as if there's no streaming. So you should just grind and word of mouth, send the emails, you know, and make sure you're not just relying on, all right, I'm just gonna type this email. You actually have to go out there as well. You know, of course, not right now with everything going on. But in
Yeah.
person is usually, you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Meeting with
Yeah.
people in person, talking to people in person. Hey, have you listened to this? Hey, check this out, check that out. So just that networking is really what I've kind of learned from the past. With the artists that I perform with, and the artists that I'm still performing with. Once everything is cleared to go. So it's just that networking aspect that will kind of get you to that level that you want to get to, meeting people. Don't be afraid to tell someone, hey, I need help with this. Because that can really be the turning point between you and your success. Don't be ashamed, man. If you need help with something, just let them know. Hey, could you please introduce me to this person? You know, I have no sort of pride in me at all. If I meet someone and I know they know someone, I'm gonna send that email. The worst you can tell me is
Just
no.
no. Yeah.
That's the worst you can tell me.
Closed
You
mouth
know,
don't get fed, man.
exactly. So I've learned to just keep my mouth open. Like, hey, could you please introduce me to that person?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not afraid to kind of dream big as well, because I do know a couple of people in the Afrobeats industry. So I do send out emails like, hey, I need this artist on this song. I don't care how big you are. As I said, sometimes you never know if they really love it, they'll say, hey, who's that, man? All right, let me, introduce me to him. So I always dream big. I don't limit myself at all. If I feel like I've worked on a song and I kind of hear someone on it that's a huge artist, in the Afrobeats industry, I'll reach out to someone who knows him and say, hey, what do you think about this and that? The most they can do is not respond, and the most, or they respond and say, hey, he's currently busy, right now, blah blah blah. Reach out again later, or hey, we love it. Let's get to work. So what I've learned, as I said, is just keeping my mouth open and talking. Making sure you know what I
Keep
need.
going. Yeah, man. Dude, you give a lot here in about 15, 20 minutes for me, man. Like
Yeah,
you're giving
yeah.
me hey, you got some good stuff,
give
man. I'm
give you the
speechless here now. I'm
gems.
speechless from it, man. But hey, I just want to
I
thank
didn't
you
I didn't
again.
mean I didn't mean to have you speechless, man. That wasn't
No.
my intent.
See,
I,
no, this is great, man. See, you're like, I like this. You're a real one, man. And I'm gonna hold you to it on that Nigeria trip, man. When me and my boss end up going out
man,
there, I'm calling you. All right. And
let's do it.
I want you and Praise to come show me around, show me the ropes, all right?
Let's do it. Let me tell you a little bit of secret though. I haven't been back since I came. I haven't been back to
Well,
Nigeria.
that's fine. We'll
But
go. We'll be the first back then. That's cool. That's cool.
we're
But
we're almost gonna be in the same boat because I'm gonna be like, wait, do I remember
what?
what this is? But
Well,
praise
man,
praise will guide us though. He'll he'll
there
he'll,
you go.
he'll
Yeah,
guide us
that's all
around.
we need. That's it. I just need a guide and
Yeah.
we'll have some fun. But hey, thank you again,
Right.
man. I'm gonna throw
Man,
on.
thank you.
I'm gonna have your social up here with ours and everything, and
Cool.
take her easy, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. All right.
Dude, no
Blessings.
worries. Pleasure's all mine, man. Take her
Yes,
easy.
sir.